Bitch, I'm the shit.
What up, world? Anti Guru. Looks like Kevin Samuels finally realized that women are insane. If you watched tonight's stream of Kevin's live stream, then you were in for a treat. Especially because tonight's live stream was about toxic modern women and how toxic they are to men in general. But one of the main things that I took away from Kevin's point, well, a lot of what Kevin was saying was that, well, not even the one things I took away, just the one thing that I want to highlight is the very, very toxic mindset of women who can cross lines and only cross lines because they know that there's no consequence to it. That has been an ongoing problem, especially in the black community for as long as I can remember. I'm almost 30. And for as long as I can remember, black women have been doing this thing where they always say, "Oh, I'm for the black community. I'm for black people. I'm for my people. I want this. I want that. Black men this. White people are so oppressive. Fuck the police. Blah, blah, blah." And then as soon as you get into a space where it's just you and the black woman, and the black woman has to submit to your authority, the black woman doesn't want to submit to your authority, so she calls a white person. A white person, whether it be a cop, whether it be a manager, or whether it be an employer, a boss, she calls a white, or whether she just goes to the public in general, she will go to find a white person to try to put this black man in check. And never does it cross her mind that the black man's authority should supersede a white man's over her. If a if a white man's authority supersedes a black man's over her, then just like Kevin was saying, you are not our women. They have successfully conquered you. You are fighting your own men and disrespecting your own skin folk in order to be more appealing and appetizing, or make yourself more available to people that have historically and still do publicly treat you bad. You're fighting a public fight over racism and oppression, over the so-called patriarchy that quote unquote white people started, or quote unquote white people perpetuate. This is the delusion sickness in black women. They are sick. Like Patrice O'Neal has said, like, this is a sickness. A lot of people don't really want to call it out because it is what it is. If we had accepted it and called it as it was, we would have already called it. A lot of women are sick. The main men that were calling women out for being sick were always, like Kevin said, had that platform pull, was demeaned in public, humiliated, called crazy, ignored, had to worry about their sales. That's why all the communities that told the truth stayed in the underground or tried to stay low profile or didn't say it on big stages because they knew they would get canceled. This was canceled before before cancel was public, before it had a name. This is why people, like average people, you think celebrities have it bad because you can see that shit. Think about what the average man has to go through. Not only average man, the average black man has to go through. Going to places of employment that are all women and you can't say anything. If you do say anything, or get on one of these women's bad side, you're done. You're done. You can't lead in that industry because if they think that you're leading somehow or you're offending them some way, you're done. You're done. It's hard for any strong man, any man, any black man, any black person that wanted to be a man, period. They have been cut off at the knees from trying to crawl in order to stand and then to walk from being a black man. Every black boy that keeps his childish ways is allowed to keep those childish ways. And I say allowed because you know when I say allowed, there's multiple different ways that black boys were allowed to stay black boys. And even then so oppressively made to stay black boys. Now, that process into becoming a man, all of the things and all the mistakes that you needed to be in order to become a man were not allowed for black boys. Black boys couldn't express or explore their manhood. Even now, you have men that will try to do something manly and they're cut off immediately. They're cut off at the neck, they're cut off at the head, they're cut off ASAP. Questioning things, you're cut off, you're shamed, you're insecure, you're guilted. You try to lead, you're insecure, you're guilted. Why don't you trust? You're this, you're questioned, you're this. You try to lead, you're questioned, you're this, you're this. You try to start something, you're questioned, you're this. They don't want to depend on you. They don't want nothing to do with yours. Oh, you're leading it. I don't want nothing to do with it. Blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of things that black boys have to fight. There's a lot of obstacles that they have to overcome. And then they have to overcome and have to go through these obstacles while not being allowed to make mistakes. Like, even taking it on a deeper level, you think that comment for Will and Jada was just a comment where they would say it felt good to be in a relationship where you're allowed to make mistakes? Those are two black people. That is a black man who had to hold his image to the highest standard because he didn't even curse in his music. He felt like his relationship was where he had to be allowed to make mistakes, and that's why he kept it even through the entanglement. Even though she loves somebody else, even though she has great desire for a dead man, the fact that she allowed him to make mistakes in their relationship meant so much to him because I guarantee you, he had to not slip up during the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. He had to not slip up during all his movie careers. He had to not slip up in public at all in order to keep going that way. He wasn't allowed to make mistakes. Yet you got Jake Paul or Logan Paul, whatever the fuck one of these Paul brothers is, doing shit like record international crimes from Japan to America with it. Still having opportunities to fight the greatest black boxer in the world. What the at the cost of the black boxer's legacy. You want to know why? Because he had to fight a fight with a white kid. You're 50-0. You're the undisputed greatest boxing champ. You have a foolproof legacy. You come out of retirement to do a quote unquote exhibition match with someone who hasn't even boxed professionally. Hasn't had 50 fights to get to. He had one fight, and then he's fighting the greatest. What message does that send? If that was a black kid, yes. do it. Because look at the message you're sending. White people can do whatever the fuck they want. The only people that are getting a taste of what it's like to be black right now is white men. And even then, they're still not getting like a quarter of it. White men are getting what it tastes like, what it feels like to be black men, to be hated for no reason, to feel like you're walking on eggshells all the time. Feel like you can't even talk to women because like something bad is gonna happen. Something bad is gonna happen. And then even if something bad happens, no one's gonna help you because you're a black man or you're a man, black especially. Oh, and it's always just your fault. It's never the bitch just has an attitude and she's just fucking entitled and doing all this random ass floggedy bullshit. It's always, what happened? Why did somebody piss her off? What did you do to make her mad? The bitch is a bitch. You all know this. These bitches can be bitches just to be bitches. But you believe her because I'm a black man. This is what needs to be fixed because if no one gives black men respect, who the fuck will? I think black men are doing this whole God, self-grandulize, even that. They have to self-grandulize themselves to the highest level and then steal themselves against anyone who would try to soften them. Because when you're black, you're alone. Even amongst the crowd, you're alone. Now think about how broken family black children must feel. The black boys who have no fathers. The black boys who have no guidance. The black boys who have no mothers or fathers going through this world with nothing. And yet he spoke something about empathy as well. Black women, modern women in general, have no empathy. They're supposed to be the most empathetic creatures and blah blah blah. I'm so spiritual. So I don't like spiritual. This whole spiritual community. Anybody that says something about spirituality and I'm here to spread positively, enlighten, peace and love, enlighten. Those are death words to me. Anybody, oh, death, love, peace, love, light, blah blah blah. You're probably your attitude isn't even worth putting up with just to fucking just leave. It's not. But yeah, women are insane. We've seen this time and time again, all because of they can threaten men with violence and expect nothing to get done to them. That is the problem. They're done.